much for your invitation to me here. That's I will be very glad to be here with this community, with this eminent community. Actually, that's I saw the participant list really is appreciated. That's I hope my knowledge, my presentation can uh, get enough for them because they really is well skilled persons in the audience. That's if I do any mistake from the starting point, I would like to apologize from them. And if you have any questions, that's you can ask me always. And then if someone else, if you check the all of the people, because I will use the full screen, that's I can stop my presentation, but end of the presentation also we can accept the uh, questions as well. Here is in my talk today, I will talk about that's quantitative analysis of amino acids in biological fluids in the GCMS and the NMR aspects. But actually, my topic is not for the technical usage of the LCMS or amino acids measurements. That's I would like to get the more overview and from the go back to behind and look at the real big picture is how we will see it. That's the evaluation of the some issues will be discussed here in, and then finally I will summarize a small comparison table about the techniques and benefits of it. Okay, now that's the I already mentioned about that. Now starting from this is my talk. I would like to start with the statement of the Isaac Asimov's statement that who is the 20th century is one of the biggest philosophers, and I as a chemist I love these statements that each new technology includes atoms and molecules for all scaled up products. Certainly chemistry knowledge will be necessary. That's I honor it as a chemist because of this statement. But really, day by day, always I am re-understanding. Every day is re-understanding that the importance of the chemistry. That's we are very happy that we are expecting to get the new students in Turkey now that they are trying to select with which school they will go that. And every year, our students is trying to get more skilled students coming to our laboratories, our schools. That's we are very happy for that. That's the chemistry is so important, but not only for the chemistry. In the modern science, we will say that the chemistry, biology, physicists, and many kind of the parts of the disciplines should be work jointly in the world. And in the another quote from the Ismail Kasparlı, who is a Turkish philosopher, he say that if you want to serve your country, start from the things you're capable of. That's so important for us. That's now what kind of studies done in my previous activities, and I will show you a small brief information about from that. So you can see the energy products, clinical kits, and HPLC column technologies. As a publisher, that we did several activities in my life within the 30 years. Chemistry knowledge is located on these activities in my area. And that's Mr. Ali told me that you can use the HPLC columns with the ZVAC provide you these HPLC column. That he said that you don't need to change the HPLC column easily. The ZVAC kits really is doing like that, but we are not happy for that because we are producing the HPLC columns. We are expecting to get to sell more HPLC columns to the customers. But anyway, that's good for the laboratories and a stable HPLC column. Let's visit our website is at triasul.com. You can find the very nice HPLC columns as well in there. The other activities in my previous studies, which is as a publisher, that's in ACG Pubs, we publish several kind of the papers, journals, and then those journals index it in Web of Science, and you can actually, maybe the audience of this talk might be related with the interested in with the Journal of Chemical Meteorology. That's if you're interested in that, we would like to say welcome to submit your papers to the analytical chemistry papers to this journal as well. And now we will talk about the energy projects. Will not be mentioned too much because they are very secret projects. That's and now today's talk is about the clinical kits and the ZWAC projects and reference materials project for us. When you look at my previous activities in countrywide, that's all of the red line, red states that's I worked with in countrywide from different universities. That's we did many projects together with those companies, those researchers actually in our country. And when we look at that in the worldwide map, for me, that one is actually, you can see here, that's the mostly is located in the European countries as well. That's very close to Turkey, these European countries. But now last year we just started collaboration between the Azerbaijan and Albania, Algeria, and Morocco. That's what just still I just started to these activities, and then I didn't update. I haven't updated this map, but to get an update to this map, it should I should finish a project. But I generally I didn't I never update any maps without finishing project. Inshallah, we would like to hope that to improve these maps with these audience as well. If anyone interested in to work together, work with our laboratories, that's always, I will say here, welcome, and you can send an email to me and we can work much on the new topics. New collaboration is open. Now, focus our topics. That's when we look at our topics, we have to ask some question ourselves. Actually, Mr. Avni said about similar words about that, but I will look at the different point of view for that one is. For example, Turkey's medical device and diagnostic kit market is approximately $4 to $6 billion. That's a so big amount of money in Turkish market. That's a really big amount of money for us, and also it's even for the developed countries and the other Western type of countries, this amount of money is so big. When we look at that, what is the important issues for this diagnosis market? That's one of the most important issue is that the accurate and precise results for the diagnosis. That's so important. Otherwise, which we cannot be cure the patients, or we cannot, we can give the unnecessary drug to the unnecessary people. That is not necessary. That this drug consumption should be reduced for the people. That means if you use the more drug, that means you spend more budget for your social security system. That is not sustainable for in Turkey's our social security system, but and also for the other countries, it might be difficult to get the sustainable social security system worldwide. And what was it? It was nice. Yeah, here. When I look at that picture, actually, we can see that all of the countries' GPTs, World Health Expenditures here, you can see that the US dollars that is dramatically is decreasing the money of the spending money for the world countries. Actually, that is not, is it good or not? We cannot say for now for that one actually. When I look at our countries, it's not too bad, but not too good actually. That's if when we look at the South Korea's actually, when we look at the South Korea's consumption, is we are almost half of the South Korea's health expenditure. That is not good for the countries. If we use the more health expenditure budget for our nation, that the people will be more healthy, people will be more happy or joyful. That's so important. Why we are trying to spend why we are spending less amount of money from the other developed countries? That is the budget problems. That's always in the worldwide. And we can see this similar picture here that even the North America, that's US and Canada, we can see here that almost the health expenditure of the world is half of them is doing by these two countries. And when you look at this yellow line, that we can see the Western Europe countries. That's so nice. That means 70% of the health expenditure budget is used by North America and Western Europe countries. That we call that one is the Western countries. We call that one is. And the second one is coming from the Asia, which is China and Japan and Singapore, something like that. These countries coming like that. But when you look at that, the transition economies and Latin America is really spending very small amount of money for their health expenditures. That is so problematic for us. But why? Because now we should, if we have no enough amount of the budget for these health expenditure issues, that we have to be sure that all measurements, all our data should be valid or accurate. That's so important for us, that we have to keep our system. And the question should be answered. And are the current methods safe and controllable enough for us? That's the question one. That's the second one is, can they be followed throughout the SI units? That is traceable. That's the valid really. That's be sure that if any measurements done in the Turkey and is same value can be obtained from the Germany or France or in Algeria, that doesn't matter with the countries. That's the importance of the measurements issues, because I worked in my former studies in National Meteorology Institute of TÜBİTAK in Turkey, that we focused on this topic so much. And can biological liquids be measured in a safer method? Safe. We have no any end with the safer method, MS, MSMS, as HRMS, and different techniques, different detectors, and also NMR. That's we have to be understanding that is what is the answer of those questions. We should now. That's why we are remember that North America is spending a lot of money for the almost 50,000 of the world's health expenditure is spending by the North America. It might be people can say that is good because they are wellness countries and they spend a lot of money, but the problem is same in everywhere. This slides obtained given by me, Stephen Weiss from the NIST. He told me that you can use that one is in your presentations. That's a very nice explanation about the measurements quality, about the accuracy of the measurements, about the small measurement uncertainty budgets for the any kind of analytical methods, especially for the clinical area. Actually, in the clinical area, we have two different results. That's really so important. Is if we have large amount of false negative data in our results, that means we can we can have many of untreated disease and untreated patients. That's the people can die. That these are our values of our humans. Actually, our nation is our values for the nations. That's so important. If we have large amount of false positive results, that means we can send west our money. That wasted money is so important because social security system cannot be sustainable by using this kind of measurement results. When we look at that almost 50 years period of the US NIST's certified advanced material program, and in 1949 is almost half of the results cannot be reliable, cannot be said that is reliable. And after these CRM programs, it started to 1969, 1980s, and decreased to 2000 as a 3% range. That should be reasonable. But still, we are trying to get decrease this uncertainty of the results, these results. That means we should not want false negatives and false positive results, because one of the false negative results can be applied by us or to one of our children. It can be diagnosed as a false negative. That's so bad because our children or ourselves, we can die, or one of the false positive that we don't want to spend a lot of money with unnecessary drug consumption or diagnostic consumptions. That is the so important. That's what we did for this kind of activities in our previous studies. That we did try to measure the realistically correct, accurate, and precise result. To get, we would like to obtain that one. That is our result that you may see here, and you can see that Singapore, that's France, Russia, Brazil, and Thailand. This kind of Mexico here, Sinam. That means almost pretty good. Everybody has touched the red line. That's its result is degree of equivalence is might be good for N. But that means we can say that all in countries that the sugar measurements should be same in the all countries. That's the idea for us. And the other ones, Mr. Avni already showed these kind of graphs in his presentation, in the opening presentation. That's the we did together with Ziwa company, these NIST surveys. Actually, we continued with these surveys. I think it's 5 years. Mr. Stu Wise was organizing with Katris Lipa, Dr. Lipa, these projects. And here you can see that the next value is the gray one, is dash line is accepted for the projects. And you can see here that the UMA result is that one is UMA and that one is UX results. We use the same methodology, but that one is used the HPLC UV or the ZWAC, and that one is used for the UMA HPLC MS system. That's Mr. Avni told that this still is that the immunoassay method is fluctuation is so high, and the LCMS method is worldwide. Is many of the laboratories use this LCMS to get the accurate and the correct measurements in diagnosis. And we did very nice projects together with Zivac company. That's we did. Well, first of all, if we would like to prepare what accurate and precise measurement methods, even for amino acids or vitamin D's, whatever you want, actually, you should have reference material for that one. Then we produced very nice reference material together with ZWAC and the CRM 1314, which is the produced by TÜBİTAK UME, and these traceable to chain established by our activities. Then this here you can see that how we can prepare the any kind of reference material based on the ISO 17034 system. At that time it was the ISO guide 34. Now it's 17034 quality system. And the planning issues, material processing issues, certification activities, homogeneity, and short-term stability, and characterization, evaluation, and so on. It's going to continue like that. That's after all these activities, we can have a reference material. Here you can see some of the activity for this traceable to chain. You can see that these QNMR studies can be used for the traceable to using the benzoic acid, NIS, NIST, or this RUME CRM. That one is the L-valine amino acid can be certified, and the traceable to SI units can be transferred easily with this method. That we did all of them for us. That's the routine measurements in the clinical laboratories here. Actually, that's here. Then we in MRIs and calibration laboratories, then we can say that, for example, ZWAC laboratories or any kind of any other brands, doesn't matter for the name of the companies, Abbott, Roche, Recipe, and the ZWAC, same for this calibration. And we call that one because routine labs get their standards from these calibration laboratories. In our case, is ZWAC, for example, for amino acids here. And these calibration labs get their traceability from the National Meteorology Institutes here. In the ZWAC case, it's from the UME. And UME is transferred to this traceability to the SI units. That's no problem for the accreditation for all laboratories. Okay, let me look at this chart, and then we can understand that easily that really is amino acid mechanism is very important for our health. This diagram shows us some part of which part of the brain, which part of the body is related with which kind of amino acids is important for these diagnostic issues. Here you can say that in the brain type dopa, glutamin, tyrosine, tryptophan, and hypothalamus, most is phenylalanine. We have many patient for this phenylalanine for the newborn in Turkey, and then thyroid is phenylalanine tyrosinase as well. You can see here that, and here you can see that all kind of the physicists or medical doctors or biochemists can explain about this chart better than me, because that one is prepared. One of my colleagues from the base Malanbak universities, they provided this presentation to me to use our presentation in our projects, and that is the really is biggest activity behind of the bodies. Then we can determine that each marker component can be diagnosed by LCM, SMS, or any other techniques. In the plasma, we can see those kind of issues, and in the urine, also the other issues can be defined, can be determined. Let me check about that for these slides, we can see that some of the amino acid is essential amino acid. We can call that the lysozyme, isoleucine, valine, histidine. I don't know want to tell all of them, but non-essential amino acids like that. And then we have to be careful to measure all those part of the amino acids. Then we can understand that which deficiency or increasing amount of the amino acid can show us which disease. That is so important. And here we can see here, for example, that for phenylketonuria, as in the clinical symptoms, until that leads to intellectual disability. That really is very terrible for the newborns. Actually, you look at that maple syrup urine in Turkey. Also, this one is really is number of increased patients available here. And here the phenylalanine tyrosine, and what we have to treatment for that one is phenylalanine free diet, because the increased number of phenylalanine is not good for the children, and tyrosine supplementation if needed. And when we look at the leucine, isoleucine variant, that's because the problematic issue is the leucine and isoleucine is so difficult to separate chromatographically in the system. And sometimes that is the problem for the routine laboratory users. Actually, as a chemist, I sometimes prefer to use different techniques to get the better resolution of the peaks from each other. But in the routine labs, people never care about it. But what I always recommend to people, if you have this kind of issues, repeat the experiment and then focus on it. And as a biochemist can do most activity for this kind of issues. But still, as SMS or as such MS, and by using very nice columns, HPLC columns, we pretty good separate these leucine and isoleucine peaks in our systems. Yeah, and homocysteine and cysteine, as you can see here, the some of the other issues. And tyrosinemia, type 2 and type 1 and type 2 also available in Turkey so much, so frequently we observe it. And here you can see it clinical symptoms here, that you can see your painful scales, lesion between the age 2 to 4. That's here is again the restriction of the diet for the phenylalanine free and tyrosine free diets is so important for these children. And you look at that, all these children can be cured if we easily diagnose them in the hospitals or in the laboratories. And this HHS syndrome is so important, is even the last number of the lower number of the children available in our sites, but is still as ornithine, arginine, and citrulline measurement also so important for this kind of tests. This table can be increased by time to time, and always in many markers can be added here, can be diagnosed in the for the children. Yeah. When we look at that one, is the according to Minister of Health, approximately 1,400,000 babies born in Turkey, and then unfortunately 29,000 of these babies die before they reach the age of 1. Actually, if we look at the 50 years or 40 years ago's data, or if you look at the most part of the world except the 70% is North America and Western Europe parts, our data is pretty good. It's very similar to Western countries, but even that for 29 baby in per 1,000, one of them might be one my babies. That's we have to be careful that we have to save all babies' life in our country, in our world. That's so important approach for metabolic disease researchers. That's really so important. That's all of you are doing very nice job in my opinion. That's I would like to thanks again everyone for these your efforts. Yeah. This for example, we can see here that one is what is the phenylalanine phenylketonuria disease? That's in the phenylketonuria disease in the patients there is no or phenylalanine hydroxylase. Sometimes the phenylalanine hydroxylase can be available in the children, but it might not be active actually. It doesn't matter to available or not. That we have to be sure that the enzyme is actively working in the patient. That's you can see here that there is no tyrosine production and increased number of phenylalanine and the final pyruvic acid amount is increased. That's organic acid also we can measure it as a marker. And then if we couldn't get the tyrosine, that means we cannot synthesize dopamine, proteins, and melanin. That's so problem for us. And also during these low phenylalanine hydroxylase activity, we can say the accumulation of phenylalanine and final ketone actually. This final ketone is not desired for us, and then decreased tyrosine supply and irreversible motor development or mental slowing down. Can you imagine that if you diagnose the baby within the first year, especially it is better for the earliest is best always, you know that one is better than me. You can keep the life of your children, your child. That's so nice activity for these measurements actually. Personally, I observed many of the cured babies, and now some of them is 20 years old. That's really is playing all kind of sports. I'm very happy to see them actually in my life. We did a lot of effort together with your company in our previous studies. That's some of the clinical chemistry kits available here that I showed here. That means in what we are doing now in Turkey, actually for us, mostly that's 47 major selected amino acids can be analyzed by SMSMS with ZVAC analysis kits in 20 minutes. And sometimes I'm against the 20 minutes, and I say that 20 minutes is okay, but 25, 26, it might be available, but always the people is trying to get 20 minutes. That 20 minutes is okay, no problem. And now I will start to another topic for the how about the NMR in these diagnosis issues? That what is the QNMR? Is it possible to diagnose some of the disease? How it's work? Is it enough to get in the low concentration? That's one of these NMR spectra obtained by our laboratories. It was published in Journal of Chemical Metallurgy in 2023. That's now I will talk about for the QNMR. And these slides obtained by Professor Udo Engelke from Netherlands. He gave this courtesy to me. And we did a lot of effort on these measurements to actually diagnose the new disease, because in Turkey, population of so different, many kind of races is collected in the Anatolia, and now especially during the Syrian war, there's many of the Syrian people also get in the country. That means really is as a newborn or metabolic disease. When we consider the metabolic disease issues, it might be very nice laboratory for us to get the different kind of gene, different kind of raises how is the metabolic disease pool can be detected new disease. It might be, why not? Here you can see that even the one of the NMR spectrum, we can obtain that the disease of tryptophan and heparate, and many kind of all kind of amino acids can be, or organic acids, everything, whatever you need, can be obtained by NMR spectroscopy. Nowadays, in some laboratories, there's a Bruker company has this kind of instrument now. They are trying to start to use these kind of measurements in daily life. But still is it can be considered as more expensive for the laboratories. When we look at that, these NMR spectra here, for example, there's organic acid issues, but please look at here that some reported issues, cases in IQ values really is 25. That's so small, they're so low. But we can care these babies. We can early, if we get early diagnosis for these babies, they can be like us. That's really, we have to focus on different techniques and different issues, always trying to search target components. That's the SMS doing very nice and accurate activity for that one, because we know that which amino acid is related to which disease, then we can easily diagnose it with SMS. But as NMR can show us also the similar values. Here I would like to mention about one of our recent study. Actually, that one is the obtained by our iron deficiency anemia diagnosis by using NMR measurements. Here you can see that the FC and the FT test results, and then methylglutamine and desaminotyrosine, and here is homogeneous state. You can see many of 68 issues that differentiate from the other healthy people blood issues. When we look at that one, is here that the control groups is located in this part, and the patient is mostly located is here in that ones with the PLSDA plot of the all metabolites of the study. That means we can easily understand that what kind of measurements can be done here. That's here. You can, if you look at this paper, here, you can see that all kind of amino acids can be successfully measured in this part, but some of them couldn't be measured based on the concentration issue of the metabolites. Then here you can see in the left-hand side, you can see the LC-MS data of the amino acids, and here in the right-hand side is NMR data of the amino acid. You can see that varies. We can detect even in the one single NMR sample to NMR studies everything else, but when you look at that, the number of the level of the NMR signals here, that's pretty good. LCMS techniques shows us very low concentration data. Then we can easily follow the diagnosis, follow the marker components for in vitro diagnosis of the secondary metabolic disorders. Actually, that is the idea for us. Now, when I try to summarize the comparison between all the methods, actually, we did all methods actually in our laboratories, and For the parameters, we can look at the instrumentation costs, maintenance, measurement times, interferences, new disease discovery capacity, derivatization, sample preparation, practical application for written clinical labs, and HPLC, GC, SMS, and QNMR. When you look at here that this HPLC is price, everybody knows that, but we know that the price always change the country to country always for that varies, but those are the reachable price in Turkish market. And you can see here that the HPLC is around 30,000 to 70, and GC is 10 to 25, SMS is 150 to 250s, and QNMR is around 600 KUSDs. But if you use the HRMS here, you should go to that more than 400,000 here. And maintenance is, of course, the HPLC is low cost, LCMS is moderate, but NMR is really high. And measurement times is changed, but generally we can say that the 15 to 40 minutes. But I recommend to large window for the HPLC always. And GCFID is 12 to 30 minutes is enough to pretty good isolation, separation for the components. LCMS is mostly in the LC amino acids. Interferences is really so small that's even the 20 minutes low, we get the very nice results, but for the stable area to stay in that area is might be 20 minutes maximum. And the QNMR is 5 to 30 minutes because QNMR is experiment time is totally related with the T1 measurements of the lattice, spin lattice measurements, that T1 data must be measured before this. Generally, we use the 40 seconds per pulse, one pulse. That means is 16 pulse is not enough for metabolites in human serum. That means we have to be increased sometimes is 1,000 scan, and if we do the 1,000 scans, our measurements can be there and overnight. That's still is the problematic for that one is QNMR, but is nice. I like it. Interferences is in HPLC and GC can be considered as a high, but in the LCMS is really is very low, and the QNMR also interferences is the biggest problem because some peaks can overlap each other, and then we couldn't understand that peaks come from which component. What QNMR can serve us to diagnose the new disease or to understand what is the disease. I can explain you one of the results. One of our children couldn't be understand with all kind of activities in our hospitals, and then we tried to most activity, but we did some LCMS measurements. We couldn't see any different issue from the healthy baby for the baby's amino acid on organic acid profile. But we did to LC-HRMS at that time, we observed some kind of peaks. It's like a propylene glycol type of issues. But we forgot, I think it comes from our materials. And we did QNMR studies. And dramatically, we observed that there really is very nice propylene glycol NMR peak is there. And then when we look at the database, that really is propylene glycol. And then we injected the propylene glycol to our LC-HRMS system, LC-MS system. That's we prepared the methods. Interestingly, the baby's plasma has propylene glycol. Where it comes from? It comes from the baby's food. Then the doctor rapidly changed the brand of the baby food, then baby is cured. But almost 10 days, baby was in hospitals. That's really is terrible. And we couldn't understand the problem of the babies. That is the issue, is to diagnosing, to use the all kind of measurements. That Mr. Shahabettin Selek did this experiment. Really, one day I would like to recommend to Mr. Avni Çavdar, Mr. Shahabettin Selek can show us this case study to get to new approach to ourselves. Yeah, that's very nice.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah, thank you. That sample preparation is for that one, is when you look at that, really GCFID is difficult. HPLC is, we can say, easy, but sometimes the non-chromophore components cannot be measured by HPLC. That we, at that time we have to derivatize it. That derivatization is really problematic issues. In LCMS MS, we can measure it. Most of them is without as derivatization, but also we can use the derivatization ones. That's I like to use the both option, because sometimes the derivatization of the some components cannot be easy, but sometimes the derivatization of the some components can be observed and better accuracy. That's I like to use the both, but we have to select it. As far as I know, that LCMS kits in the ZIVAX is really good and simple and easy derivatization agents. They use it. It was working very nice actually. And QNMR is very simple. Just measure it at the sample preparation is too easy. The most problematic issue is to measure it on time, and practical application. I can say that all of them is yes, but QNMR still is yes or no, because the amount of the budget is so high, and we strongly need to well qualified NMR users for that one. That is the biggest problem for these issues. And look at that one is here. That's I will getting coming to end of my presentation. That's I would like to show this picture to you. When everyone has a baby with this man or these parents, both of them kiss the baby because we love our babies. That's really smelling of the newborn babies is amazing for us. If we have the babies, you will understand me perfectly. That's so nice. But every parent has some ideas about that their parents. They say that in the future, where somebody else would like, it should be a teacher, somebody else it should be a doctor, somebody else say that. For example, in these babies' parents would like to see their child as a player, basketball player. Is it possible or not? That one is so important for us. If we couldn't cure that babies, look at that one. This picture is given us by our CBAC projects from the Hacettepe universities. And these are two brothers. That one is as PQA brothers. That is diagnosed as a PQA. That's there is no mental power. There's a motor development is so small. But this one is healthy. Younger one is healthier child. But this guy, unfortunately, will need help in his whole life. That's because it's too late to cure that one. Is that if we if we have this kind of children, we couldn't get this dream in our life. That's just very terrible for us. But if we use a simple technique, but it's not important for the ZIVAX amino acid and SMS measurement case. Maybe another thing, doesn't matter. NMR GC, HPLC doesn't matter. But if we use this kind of screening kits for any newborn babies, then we will sure that the like this Hido, he's pediatric or this one is that from the Orlando Magic, he can play. I definitely say that we did this started this kind of studies in 2004 and 2005. Now almost 18 or 20 years of the babies we cured together with Zivak and the Istanbul universities activities. Really now I have some of the babies now I see them. That's really I know that some of the families and now they are very happy, but they're healthy. Just they did it special treatments. Some of them is special diet, some of them is special pills. You know that actually better than me. That's very nice actually. That's all of this community really should save our communities. That's the conclusion. Early diagnosis and timely treatment are crucial. You know that one actually better than me actually. Yes. Newborn screening tests are one of the most effective healthcare services. That's one of them. It's amino acid analysis measurement kits. The other one is organic acid measurement kits. That's so nice. Actually, we will have the new very nice biotinidase measurement kits. It will be available on the market in my research activities. Just opened it, but Mr. Avni is learning now. It's first time here. That's the my project together with Mr. Şahbettin and Selek in Bezmal Vakıf University. It's the best technique in the world, actually. And when we look at the Turkish program, it was started in 2006, but it started in 1986 by only using phenylketonuria. But in 2006, it was added for the hypothyroidism and biotinidase deficiency disease. But still, in the biotinidase measurements really is not good because we don't know the enzyme is active or not. That really is. We couldn't measure this enough. Uncertainty budget of the accuracy of the measurement is really so wide in current method. We will solve this problem. And that means I always recommend to even the Turkish Ministry of Health people expanding the newborn screening program to include more metabolic disease can significantly improve the health outcomes of the newborn and their families. Early detection and treatment of these diseases can prevent or minimize complications, improve quality of the life, and reduce the healthcare cost. Expanding the newborn screening program requires allocating adequate resource, training healthcare professionals, and establishing effective follow-up mechanism. And finally, I would like to say that based on our survey together with Mr. Tonlay Baykal and Zivak company, approximately in Turkey, in 1,300,000 babies born, but unfortunately, the last 2 years, its birth rate in Turkey is getting down. I think it's nowadays around 1 million. Anyway, we will use the 1.3 million in this issue. Almost 1,105 children are born with curable metabolic disorders. 200 of them for phenylketonuria, 185 babies from deficiency of biotinase, and 720 babies any other organic acid and amino acid problems such as glutaric aciduria, fibaric aciduria, and so on. Then we will start the new program. We hope that in Turkey now actually even the government is not started yet for that one, but many of the hospitals use these kind of amino acid analysis kits for the newborn babies, and almost 20% of the country, I think, use this kind of determination of the diagnosis. Then what I would like to say that if you see your baby is like that, happy and very, very comfortable issue is, then we have to measure, we have to use early diagnosis kits for newborn screening, which include